Hi there. We're going to talk about Nazis today. Hi. Welcome. I am Jim. Just call me Jim. No, actually, my name is Dimitri. My friends call me D sometimes they don't, etc., what have you. This is Dirtbag History. Ugh. I'm not a historian. I don't even have a college degree. So, if you came here for history, you're in the wrong place, mother bitch. Today we're talking about something specific during the Nazi regime, the Third Reich. Today we're talking about the Wannsee Conference. What's that, you say? I'm going to tell you right now. It is a conference that took place on January 20th, 1942. Columbus sailed the ocean blue. No, I didn't. That's 1492. But same numbers, though. Interesting, is it not? It's all about numbers, guys. It's all about numbers. So essentially what this was a vanity exercise for this guy, Reinhard Heydrich. He was the director of the Reich Security Main Office. He was an SS Obergruppenführer, which I believe means special fort or special group leader or some shit like that. Whatever. He was like right behind Himmler. He was like Himmler's guy, essentially. And this shit took place right outside of Berlin in Wannsee in a mansion villa style that's now become a Holocaust museum, which is awesome because fuck Nazis, right? So what was the aim of this conference? You say, is that what you're saying? That's what I'm saying. The mean? No, the aim. What's the aim? You aim for something, right? Remember the teacher at class when she'd come in, she'd write when she put on the board AIM. That's the aim of the lesson today, I guess. Anyway, it was the implementation of the final solution to the Jewish question. That's a quote. That's not me saying that. I like Jewish people. I like corned beef. I like circumcised penises, I guess, and the like. Jews are fine. They're cool. I mean, it's a little fucked up what they're doing in Palestine, but let's focus on what we're doing right now. So, Wannsee Conference. Reinhard Heydrich wanted to swing his big dick. So basically what they had to do was get everybody on board, all the administrations that were involved in the Reich that had something to do with Jews and deporting the Jews and stuff like that everyone had to be on board. So this was a meeting of all those heads and the top people of those those administrations and those branches essentially. So at first Nazis never liked Jews. All right, let's call a spade here. The minute they came into power in 1933 in January, they started putting economic pressure and threat and actual violence on Jewish citizens of Germany. That the goal was for them to move out of Germany, go somewhere else. Later on that same year when they took over, essentially, like 2 or 3 months, I think it was April 7th of 1933, they came out with a law for restoration of professional civil service. And basically what this law did was strip any Jew of, if they worked in a civil service in Germany or if they had a law degree or law license, they were stripped of it and they couldn't practice their professions essentially. And following that, some other legislation came through which stripped them of the right to their other professions. So the whole time, violence and economic pressure was building towards the Jewish population in Germany. They were no bueno. They were not interested in Jews. I don't get it, bro. Like, I know they control the weather and shit, but like, who cares? You know what I mean? Like, it's just the weather. Like, big deal. But they're fucking normal people like we are, for fuck's sake. Sure, all right, sometimes they wear silly curls and stuff like that. Those are the hardcore ones. You know, we got hardcore everything here. We got hardcore Christians, we got hardcore Muslims, we got hardcore Hindu, Buddhist, whatever the fuck you want to do, whatever your taste is. We got hardcore motherfuckers that do that kind of weird shit. It is what it is. You know what I mean? Like, fucking who gives a fuck? As long as you're not killing people, what do you got for... I got no beef with you. We got no beef. Don't kill nobody. And rape and all that, you know. Rapé is bad, obviously. So, fast forward to 1935, September, the Nuremberg laws were enacted. And those said basically that Jews cannot marry Germans. If you were a Jewish person, you had Jewish descent in you, you cannot have any relation, whether it be extramarital relations or actual marital relations, with German people. And there was another little stipulation here, and the employment of German women under the age of 45 as domestic service in Jewish households were no bueno. I don't know what that means. And essentially they came out with this crazy chart in 1935 that shows racial classifications under Nuremberg law, which is insane. So like you had a Mischling, which was like a mix, Jewish-German. You had a German, full German, no Jew, and then you had a full Jew, I guess. Mischling was a mixed person. That comes to play in the Wannsee Conference later on, years down the road, because it's unbelievable. These guys are having tea and fucking crumpkits or whatever fucking Germans have, like sauerkraut and fucking bratwurst or whatever, and they're talking about what constitutes a person being a Jew. It's fucking insane how this is like a high government meeting. So World War II pops off in 1939. By then, 250,000 of Germany's Jews emigrated outside of Germany. 250,000 out of 437,000 total Jews emigrated out. They went to the United States, they went to the UK, they went to Palestine and other countries. Again, Palestine and Jews, I get it. That's a hot topic right now. We move past that right now. Obviously, we'll put a pin in it and we'll come back to it. Okay? Okay. Peace and love. So what does Germany do? They pop off with World War II. September of 1939, they go into Poland, take over Poland. Hitler's had a big hard-on to essentially decapitate like the intelligentsia and the leadership of Poland, just basically make it tougher for them to actually make fucking decisions from the top down. So they came in September 1939. By the end of 1939, the SS killed 65,000 Polish citizens. In addition to the leaders of the Polish society, they killed Jews, prostitutes, Romani people, and the mentally ill. So this popped off World War II big time. Them invading Poland. The Germans invading Poland forced the UK and France to declare war. And then it also mobilized Soviet Union to go into Poland and get their piece of Poland, because during the war, Soviet Union had a piece of Poland as did Germany. And the occupied, this has to be stated because this is brought up a lot during the Wannsee Conference. The occupied areas of Poland by German forces was called the government general. And that shit keeps popping up because that's like a super important part in terms of like where they sent the Jews to die, where they were going to send them to initially be, I guess, processed and then moved out to the east towards like Russia to like build roads and work as slave labor. So the plan was like this. Germany thought they were in, they popped off. They went after France. They killed France. They, took over France super quick. They took over Europe, most of continental Europe anyway, like West Europe. And they looked like they couldn't be stopped. Then Operation Barbarossa, which was the Germans invading Soviet Union, popped off. Because this guy didn't have enough fucking issues fighting everybody else. He had to go after the Soviet Union. And that was after him and Stalin had signed a non-aggression pact. He basically went back on that, reneged on that, and went after the Soviet Union. And the big hard-on for these Nazis was Lebensraum, which is living space. Hitler wanted space for the German people to be able to colonize and do their thing. So, 1941, July 31st, Hermann Göring, the fat fucking morphine addict dude who was a fighter pilot ace in World War I and was like a big-time Nazi, he was like second in command essentially at this time, gave written authorization to Obergruppenführer Reinhard Heydrich, chief of the Reich Security Main Office. He's our fucking main character of this Wannsee Conference. The Wannsee Conference was essentially this guy Heydrich's fucking TED Talk. Like, this literally what it was. He talked for fucking an hour during it, and it was like a 90-minute meeting. So he sent a written letter to prepare to authorize a plan for a total solution of the Jewish questions in territories under German control. The resulting plan was called General Plan Ost, and that's translated from German as General Plan for the East, calling for the deportation of the population of occupied Europe, of all their Jews, and send them out east to work as a slave labor and essentially just work them till they fucking died, building roads or doing whatever. They also had an insane fucking plan where not only killing Jews was like in the vogue, they wanted to reduce the population of these conquered territories by 30 million people. And the way they chose to do that was mass starvation. It was called the Hunger Plan, devised by this jamoke fucking piece of shit Herbert Bach. Guys, I mean, you're devising a way to starve people, bro? You're crazy. You're a bad guy. You're not a good guy. You're a piece of shit. You're a piece of shit. So the objective of the hunger plan was to inflict deliberate mass starvation on the Slavic civilian populations under German occupation by directing all food supplies to the German home population and to the front in all the wars, whether it was the Eastern Front or the Western Front. According to Timothy Snyder, 4.2 million Soviet citizens, largely Russians, Belarusians, and Ukrainians, were starved by the Nazis from 1941 to 1944 as a result of this hunger plan by this chode fucking Bach. So, I mean, let's call a spade here. They're not good guys, including like trying to starve everybody and then kill all the Jews and stuff. Heinrich sent another fucking message to like his SS and police leaders that after all, like as they were going through Soviet Union, because they were taking up a ton of land in Soviet Union, like they looked like they were unstoppable early on. The order was, if you find fucking Jews, you find fucking communists, you find international communists, anybody, they gotta go. Kill them. Out. See ya. Then in July of 1941, it's all good, right? We're in the fucking Soviet Union. We're out east. Not the Hamptons. We're out east in Europe. It's fucking nice. It's July, bro. We're partying. Everyone's at beach parties and shit, getting shit-faced, doing Molly. You know what I mean? Like catching fucking chlamydia. It's super nice out. Not expecting that. Oh, we're going to be done by the fall for sure. This is going to be super quick. We'll bang it out. No sweat. We're not going to see a fucking Soviet winter. What the fuck is that? We don't know what that is. So anyway, they're popping. On July 8th, Heinrich announced that all Jews are to be regarded as partisans. Basically, they're the bad guys. They need to go. So this is what they came up with. Male Jews from age 15 to 45 shot sight unseen. 1 month later, they changed that rule to include women, children, and the elderly. So just full slate murking all Jews. And this is before the Wannsee Conference, where essentially the whole thing about the Wannsee Conference was they turbocharged this fucking idea because the war is about to hit its like turning point essentially for the Nazis. So this is all 1941. Like, so as they're clipping as many people as they can find, they're also sending them to concentration camps. I mean, I'm sure from command to command it's probably different, right? They're shipping people off. They're just clipping people right there. The whole plan especially was to send the European Jews to Russia to work on road building projects and essentially just be worked to death. It wasn't like, oh yeah, they're going to be our slave labor forever. It's like, we're going to use we're going to use human suffering to build roads and stuff. And the other plan was to actually go to cities that they took over, raise them, so basically demolish an entire city, return it to the forest, or make room for German colonists. It's absolutely fucking insane. Only because this was like 80 fucking years ago. It wasn't like 700 years ago where some witch doctor told you to fucking cut a person in half and then fuck the bottom part of the person, then burn them and put them in a stew and then eat it to ward off evil spirits. This was 80 fucking years ago, and these guys were like complete and utter fucking savages. So the year goes on, the Operation Barbarossa kind of hits a snag. They start fucking, it gets cold out, right? We got seasons around in this fucking world, right? Eastern Europe and, the Soviet Union, not known for its fucking beautiful weather during the winter. So the Nazis get fucking bogged down. They're right outside of Moscow, so they're fucking taking up space for sure. They get stopped. The Russians start to counterattack. And it becomes very obvious to all like the strategic people and the commanders that we're not going to take Russia that easy. It's not going to be done in fucking 6 months. We're going to be here for a long time. It's going to be a war of attrition. And nobody wants to tell Uncle fucking Adolf that. So we're looking at November 29th, 1941. Heydrich sends out invitations to the guys that he wants at this meeting. He basically thinks that he's got the authority to figure this out because Hermann Göring essentially told him, like, yo, figure this fucking shit out. We gotta have a plan. That early plan was to send them out east to work them to death. Now, because things are changing in late 1941, because in December 1941 is literally it's where World War II takes a turn. Nazis look unstoppable for the most part. December 1941, not so much anymore. So this guy sends out the invitations. He ends up having to cancel it and he has to move the date and time and place. So December 5th, the Soviet army begins their counteroffensive in Moscow. It legit stops the Nazi advance in its tracks. 2 days later, Japanese bomb Pearl Harbor. Then, December 8th, U.S. declares war on Japan. 3 days later, December 11th, Hitler and the Reich declare war on the U.S. And it's official, like everyone's fucking popping off. You know what I mean? It's like when the bar fights kind of just like sustained to one corner and the shit just becomes absolute mayhem. That's what happened right now. And like, you fuck with the USA, bro, you're gonna get the fucking backhand. You know what I'm saying? So the Japs come in, they fucking clip fucking Pearl Harbor. Because we're all in Hawaii kicking it, you know, we're all fucking drinking Mai Tais. Who the fuck, we're chilling in Hawaii, bro. What do we think? Something crazy's gonna happen? No, we didn't think that. Not for a second. So they come in, clip. I think they killed like over 3,000 people on that surprise attack. FDR, we know him well. He's already been like sending supplies and shit to the Allies. But, you know, there was major tension in the U.S. in terms, a lot of the U.S. wanted to stay isolationist because we had two big fucking oceans, between us. And the other half kind of wanted to get involved, right? Because Hitler's a no bueno dude. And Japan's fucking running amok out west. Like, it's kind of missed, like, how crazy Japan was, really, in World War II. Like, they were doing the same kind of atrocities that the Nazis were doing. But the Nazis get all the fucking play because they got cute uniforms, essentially. So anyway, December 1941, huge month for the war. December 11th, the Reich declares war on the U.S. The next day at the Reich Chancellery, Hitler is meeting with like a ton of his fucking top people. Hermann Goring, like the works, a ton of them. And essentially, after that, Hitler makes his plan very clear. It's get rid of all the Jews, no matter what. No more waiting to send them out east, because out east doesn't exist. You can't just ship tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of people out east in a combat zone, right? There's war going on, so they don't have control of the battlefield. So he made his intentions as plain as humanly possible. They all got to go. December 18th, Hitler meets with Himmler, who was the head of the SS, and a top Nazi. This guy's like top 3 Nazi. At the Wolf Slayers. Following the meeting, Himmler made a note on his calendar which simply stated Jewish, and this is quote, Jewish question / to be destroyed as partisans. So no more ifs, ands, or buts. They gotta go. Full stop, wholesale. It's kind of crazy how like their initial plan was to just do it slowly, and now I don't understand why they use bandwidth on this. It's so insane to me. So insane. So, they go to New Year's, because of course they have to do New Year's and stuff. So January 8th, Heinrich sends out new invitations for the meeting to be held on January 20th that same year. The venue was rescheduled. It was first at the Interpol offices. Now is at a villa in Wannsee, Berlin. Essentially, the attendees, there were 15 people who attended. They were obviously Reinhard Heydrich, because it was his fucking TED Talk. Otto Hoffmann, another SS officer. Heinrich Müller, who was the chief of AMT, the Gestapo. What fucking weird names. Karl Ebhard Schongarth. These are all essentially these are all party officials who were top management people in these different administrations that had to deal with moving Jews, catching Jews, or whatever to do it. And he wanted everyone to be on the same page. And I think it was just to put his fucking schwanz on the table and be like, I got the big dick here. Y'all got to listen to me. And this is how it's going to go. A ton of other Ministry of Justice people, Ministry of Interior, the 4-year plan, which that was another ministry, and a ton of SS guys and Nazi Party Chancellery guys. So these, they wanted to just everyone to be on the same page and make it happen. During the meeting, Adolf Eichmann, who's a fucking rat fuck, ended up getting captured by the Mossad in the 60s and brought back to Israel and tried. In preparation for the conference, Eichmann drafted a list of the number of Jews in various European countries. The list was broken down in countries A were those under direct Reich control or occupation, and B were countries that were allied, client states, or are actively fighting against the Nazis. Estonia, for example, was free of Jews because since the 4,500 Jews who remained in Estonia after the German occupation had already been exterminated by the end of 1941. Poland wasn't on the list because Poland essentially was the hub. They were going to send them to Poland to be killed there. That's where they were going to end up. And they had been killing fucking Jews and throwing them in ghettos and concentration camps and stuff since the get-go. So what ended up happening was, these guys are fucking lawyers, and it's crazy. They essentially were debating what constituted a Jew and what didn't. Was it mixed if they were if they had two grandparents that were faith practicing Jews, they were constituted a Jew. If they had 3 grandparents who were Jewish, who had Jewish blood, but were not fucking practicing Jews, still a Jew. 2 grandparents who were Jews but not practicing was considered a non-Jew. I think they smoothed that, changed that, and made that where they got to go too. It was crazy. And this line right here that I read is unreal. Jews over 65 years old and Jewish World War I veterans who had been severely wounded or who had won the Iron Cross would be sent to Theresienstadt concentration camp instead of being killed. So, German Jews who fought in World War I and were wounded in battle or won essentially the fucking Medal of Honor for defending Germany in World War I would be sent to this concentration camp that was not they weren't going to be killed, but it's a concentration camp. You're still a dirtbag Jew. It's fucking crazy. Crazy. The situation of people who were half or quarter Jews and Jews who were married to non-Jews was more complex. Under the Nuremberg laws of 1935, their statuses had been left deliberately ambiguous. Heydrich announced that Mischling, which was a mixed-race person, of the first degree, persons with 2 Jewish grandparents, would be treated as Jews. This would not apply if they were married to a non-Jew and had children by that marriage. It would also not apply if they had been granted written exemption by the highest officers of the party and state. Such persons would be sterilized or deported if they refused sterilization. A, quote, Mischling of the second degree, a person with 1 Jewish grandparent, would be treated as German unless he or she was married to a Jew or a Mischling of the first degree. Oh my God. And this is crazy too. Had a, quote, racially especially undesirable appearance that marks him outwardly as a Jew. Or had a, quote, political record that shows he feels and behaves like a Jew. Persons in this latter category would be killed even if married to non-Jews. In the case of mixed marriages, Heydrich recommended that each case should be evaluated individually and the impact on any German relatives assessed. If such a marriage had produced children who were being raised as Germans, the Jewish partner would not be killed. If they were being raised as Jews, they might be killed or sent to an old age ghetto, which they would send the older Jews and the war heroes from World War I. These exemptions applied only to German and Austrian Jews and were not always observed even for them. In most of the occupied countries, Jews were rounded up and killed en masse, and anyone who lived in or identified with the Jewish community in any place was regarded as a Jew. Fucking insane. These guys are crazy, lunatic psychopaths. Think about these guys are fucking bureaucratic, middle management, douchebag, goober fucks, right? Who are just looking for the next promotion, and this is what they're discussing. They're not discussing oh, how are we going to get food to XYZ? No, they're discussing how to fucking exterminate a civilian population because they're Jewish. Guys. I want the Jews, I want the Christians, I want the Muslims, I want the Hindus. I want anyone who observes any kind of a organized religion, Scientology. You're wrong. It's not real. Heydrich spoke for nearly an hour. Then followed about 30 minutes of questions and comments. He did a fucking Q&A after his fucking TED Talk. Fucking crazy. Essentially what went down here, and the other thing is even if you were mixed or whatever, the sterilization, they sterilize you. What are we doing here, bro? What are we, fucking dogs? Spaying and neutering our fucking dogs? So there was a guy, Eric Newman, from the 4-year plan. Essentially, I guess the 4-year plan was part of what to do during the war. Argued for the exemption of Jews who were working in industries vital to the war effort and for whom no replacements were available. What a great guy. Thanks, Eric. Really appreciate your fucking stance on that. Heydrich assured him that there was already a policy in place. Such Jews would not be killed. But essentially, towards the end of the meeting, everyone was having cognac, smoking cigars, probably eating sauerkraut. And it was basically everyone was more or less in agreement. Thankfully, somehow they fucking snatched up one of these meeting minutes papers, essentially what they talked about. But even in the meeting minutes, it was not verbatim language. It was basically, more politically correct, I guess, in terms. I don't know how you can be politically correct when you're talking about mass murder of fucking people, but I guess so. And the letter that was made for Martin Luther, who was actually found by Robert Kemper, a U.S. prosecutor in the International Military Tribunal at Nuremberg, in the files that had been seized from the German office. So there's a little bit of debate, basically, about the interpretation of the Wannsee Conference. You know, they say, like, you know, I mean, listen, it's obviously nothing's as arbitrary, right? Like, Nazis hated fucking Jews, full stop, from the get-go, right? From the start. It's not like, oh, all of a sudden they fucking became even meaner after this fucking conference. They were mean cocksuckers from the get-go. So they have these guys have biographers and stuff who argue like, oh, Himmler wanted fucking Jews to be gone from the get. Like, no shit, guys. The Nazis wanted Jews gone from the get-go. They changed it up because the war turned and they couldn't send them out east to make fucking roads and shit. So they had to fucking figure out a different way, which is fucking insane to think about. Like how they just willy-nilly talked about fucking mass murder. It's fucking crazy. Of innocent people. Innocent people. Crazy, these fucking Muppets. That's why they're Nazis, and Nazis are bad. Anyway, awesome movie called Conspiracy. HBO made it. Check it out. It's fucking dope. Really good. Stanley Tucci, who's my love, he's in it. Kenneth Branagh, Colin Firth is in it. I think Colin Firth plays the 4-year plan guy, Eric Newman, who argued about the Jews that worked in the fucking war industries to be saved. What a stud. Thanks so much for your sacrifice, buddy. Pretty good movie. Check it out if you're fancy and rich and you have HBO Max. The house where it was set at was like a villa. It was basically Wannsee is basically a Berlin neighborhood that's like super upscale, and this villa that they had it in ended up becoming a Holocaust museum, which I guess is good. You know what I mean? I mean, it would have been nice if they didn't murk fucking 6 million Jews and shit. But I digress. Anyway, you know what happens in the war. The boys come in. We take care of Japan, obviously, because they got out of hand, and we had to fucking radiate them. The Red Boys came in from the east, took care of business with the Nazis. We came from the west, took care of the Nazis. We all know what happens. I mean, some of these guys fucking got off, which is fucking unbelievable. Not got off, but they were able to flee to South America, and I have some planned stuff for that, too. To talk about guys who actually didn't get caught and were in South America till they fucking died, which is wild. There's also like a huge Hitler conspiracy that he went to South America, which I don't know if I believe that. It's interesting to like read about and stuff, but I don't know if that's legit. Anyway. Final thoughts. Nazis were fucking bad. Look past their cute uniforms. They were fucking bad people. Bad people. Hermann Göring, fuck you, dude. Fat piece of shit. That guy sucked. Anyway. Thankfully we won, I guess. That's Dirtbag History. Do me a favor. Like and subscribe if you're watching a video. If you're listening to us on podcasts, whether it's Apple, Spotify, or anywhere else, rate and review it there, please. And tell your friends about it. Also, do me a solid. If you love special forces and special operations, me and my homie Jack Murphy, former Army Ranger, former Green Beret, and karate master. Currently, he's an investigative journalist. Talk about the history of U.S. Special Forces and Special Operations from 1632 to present day, when we just clipped Soleimani, the leader of the Quds Force in Iran. So check that out. It's pretty fucking interesting. Jack's a fucking wizard. He knows this shit like the back of his hand. And yeah, I love you. I don't like Nazis. Not even one bit. And Hitler was a chode. Hitler was an emo fucking chode pussy bitch that couldn't hack it as an artist, so decided to fucking for world domination, which is crazy. All right, that's it. Bye, Abdi.